Anyway, family fun. Cameras 1 and 2. Take one. All right, next.
Always wanted to do that.
There are takes in this?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
Oh, that's right. Of
That's
course.
how multi-cameras work.
Look
Now we're
how
all
white
good
and
to go.
privileged we are.
Right? How snooty are we?
I know.
So,
So everything's
We
going.
like it. It's okay.
I love it.
So why are we all here?
Yeah.
We don't
Honestly,
know.
we don't know.
This is.
This is you making us get into the same room on the same couch with brown people.
This is true.
Then you said cram on the
So
bed.
we
Yeah.
all want to see Dad and talk to him and hang out with him.
Interview Dad before he croaks.
Oh, you just immediately have to go there.
I know.
Yeah,
Look at that
so-
face.
He's a North man. Well, of course so.
Just immediately.
So when can we get a kid?
Don't. Hate that joke.
You could talk about Bowen.
What
It
do you
might take a while.
It's always an easy go-to.
What do you want to talk about Bowen?
What do we
As a
do if
child.
we have him as a kid?
How do we raise a Bowen?
What do we
Wow.
do about that?
Well,
How did you not murder him?
Adopt
you
him out.
you buy the book How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk,
I have that book.
I have that book
and
too.
you also get as a companion Positive Discipline by Jane Nelson. Because if I hadn't started reading those books,
You beat him with a belt.
I would have felt like I had to just hurt him bad. Because you can't come at a strong-willed little person without hurting them. So you have to do all of that, give them choices thing, between consequence and cooperation.
Yeah, but did that work?
Did he
It
ever
did, but it took a long time.
say-
What,
did he
like
ever-
12 years?
No,
Couple.
it took. I tell us the story about when I finally realized it was working. Up until this moment, he always chose the consequence. But I felt like I had to keep putting the choices out there to him and follow through with the consequence when he chose to not cooperate or disobey. And the consequence, because you still were in a diaper, but you were in a diaper till you were 10. So, well, maybe, how old was he?
5.
He
Yeah,
was 5? Why was he 5?
Well, because he just
This was.
wanted to poop in his pants.
Well,
And then we had to wipe him for the longest time because
Not
he
much.
didn't
He
want
wouldn't
to see
touch
it.
You
He
had
didn't
to
have
give
his
him.
hands.
You had to give him presents to poop in the toilet,
And we can't hear you.
and it didn't work.
She said she wasn't going to talk, but we knew better. So, anyway, there came a day when Grandma Wood was there. She was sitting at the dining room table, well, it was all one room. He wanted to get into the cupboard over the trash at Orangewood Way. And he pulled a stool over there with his little diaper, and he didn't have a shirt on, just a diaper. And he climbed up on the stool, and I said, no, whatever I said, you can get down or you can open that cupboard, but if you open the cupboard, be a SWAT or something, whatever the consequence was. Well, this had happened so many times that he believed me. This time was the first time that he really thought about it, and he started getting angry, and he started screaming, and he's stomping on that stool. He's standing up there, he's got his hands on the door to the cupboard. He's stomping and screaming, yeah, yeah, and banging the cupboard, bam, bam, bam. And I walked away. Grandma Wood was sitting there watching all this, and so I went over to the table like I was ignoring him, like leaving him alone with his choice, just waiting for him to do what he always did, which was choose the consequence. And I'm, by this time, getting kind of discouraged. Is this ever going to work? But that day was when it happened. He fought with himself on top of that stool for a couple of minutes, and then he just broke down crying, and then he just climbed down off the stool. It was the first time that he chose to cooperate, but he had that big fight with himself. I was ignoring him. The fight was not with me, although he was looking at me when he was screaming. And he got down. I walked over. I picked him up. I said, I'm glad you made that choice. And I put him down and I walked away and he walked away. And Doreen was sitting there and her face was like this. And she said, wow, that really works. Well, finally. And, you know, it didn't go completely smoothly after that. He still chose the consequence regularly, but he was, after that, far more cooperative, far more. You could just give him a choice and he'd think about it. Sometimes he'd look you in the eye and just do it anyway. But that's when all that stuff that I was reading, I believed it. It was working. And that's what I've been teaching people ever since. And I buy those books and give them to young parents. So that's been one of the big helps that Bowen, my son, has
How
given me.
do you discourage lying? Like, were any of you guys
Oh.
liars? Like,
Stick.
I still lie.
Who's better about it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah, how do you- lying about.
well, I don't know, anything. Like, did you? Because like
Liars.
lying can go into sneakiness and stuff.
Like-
Yeah.
Kids are little, yeah,
Kids.
or
Kids-
teenagers.
That's what kids.
They-
Right, but
Every
like,
kid
like
lies.
young kids, middle kids, teenage kids,
Any
high school
period,
kids.
like how did you discourage lying, or was it not discouraged? I guess. So.
Well, again with the consequences. You know, what are the consequences of lying? Well, people don't believe you. So then you have to really turn the volume up on that and not believe anything this person says. You know, you're going way out of your way to not believe them. Sorry, I don't believe anything you say. And so I don't remember examples of doing that with you guys, but I know that was part of dealing with lying, was just for a time not believing anything, and you don't trust them. They can't be alone. But again, that takes a long time, you know.
Well,
But it just has to be consistent.
Well,
she just a
you in
liar.
high school.
I only lied
I was only,
twice
I
about
was only
big things
talking
in high
about
school.
the one party that really went
Yeah, and
down.
then when I went to the Mormon church.
I think I had that one.
You went to the
What about the
and
Mormon
lied?
church?
You went to a Mormon church?
I went to the Mormon church when you guys were gone, and I lied about it, and Bowen covered for me, and we both got in trouble.
Wow.
Wait,
Wait,
why
how'd you
did
get-
you?
how'd you get caught?
Why would
Who's
you
trouble?
lie to go to
I don't
that
know.
your church?
I don't know. I assume either somebody in the Mormon church saw me and was like,
Why? I
"Your
don't.
kid was at the Mormon church." I
Well,
don't know.
Because we were.
Were you afraid you were going to get in trouble?
No, you guys wouldn't let me go. That's when you guys were. That's when I went with the weird family.
Oh.
Yeah,
We
we
didn't
didn't
like
like
that
the family.
Oh.
And you wanted to go over
The naked
there. Those were the
family?
days when you
Yeah.
hated here, you loved there, and they were crazy.
You're being recorded. Just remember.
She can't be
Fine,
weird.
she can watch
She's
it.
still
I don't-
crazy,
She knows
so
she's
fine.
crazy.
Okay.
We're the only ones that are gonna watch it.
Anyway, Chelsea lied all the time about where she was.
Chelsea got caught
Now,
all the time. too.
let's not talk about Chelsea since she's not here.
Well, that's okay. I'm just
She would defend herself on that. that's
using
true.
as an just that as an example. How did you work with that kind of lying?
Well, again, I mean, that's how she ended up with the Navigator
tracker phone.
GPS on her phone, and it, just constantly challenging, constantly calling her, not trusting
Show
her.
up where, like, he called me one time and he asked where I was at night, and I said I was at a stop sign by Alyssa's house on my way home. And he pulls up and he's like, "Glad you're here."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
at
right.
a stop sign. Exactly where I said I was.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, so it's constantly checking up on you, so you never know where he's gonna be.
Some of it,
He's
though,
I didn't know that.
we
I didn't know
have
either.
said
Didn't.
That's a good idea.
some of it is it's not our shame. When you raise your kids and they lie, it's not my shame as a parent. We have raised you, you're lying. That's your shame. I mean, you shouldn't lie. So I don't know, part of it I think like with Chelsea in high school, I still don't really know what Chelsea did. I know she wasn't doing what she did in college, but to me, I feel like that's not my shame.
No.
If she said she was working at Taco Bell and she was sneaking off to Gridley at 17 or 18 in high school, then
That's
I'm
not
just
our failing.
right, it's
But-
not our failing. Some of it, kids are just going to, they have to stretch that. I think by the time they got to be 17 or 18, I mean, what we tried to say is your decisions now will affect you the rest of your life. So make dumb ones, you'll have those the rest of your life. And we were really lucky, I think, that nothing permanent happened, illness, child, whatever.
But lying is one of the toughest. And, you know, we dealt with that with everybody all through the years. And there was a lot of trying to get across how terrible this is. And, yeah.
It feels bad to be lied to when you trust your child, but it feels bad to be lied to if your spouse is lying to you. So I guess what we just tried to do, and I don't know, I mean, I think you guys all turned out good and all of that, but I think what you try to do as parents is make sure that they know this is going forward. This isn't just right now. This is how you're going to be in your next relationship or with your spouse. So if it's easy to lie now, is it going to be easy to lie to your spouse? That's not going to be good for you. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's another Noel story. I don't remember how you got in with this group who was selling things.
Oh, the newspaper.
It was a
And
great job.
It was nighttime. I don't remember if I called. How I
Yeah,
knew.
because you called. Because I think that's when I had my tracker. I don't know.
Okay.
So it was a really sketchy job where we would go door to door selling newspaper subscriptions.
At night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it was.
The time I found out about it was at night,
It was late. It was like 5 o'clock and it was dark.
Yeah.
winter.
6 o'clock. Yeah. So it wasn't like late.
Right.
And he told me not to go to Chico because we had gone once before and he didn't like that. And then we were supposed to go to Thermalito, and then instead we went to Chico. And so by the time I found out that we were going to Chico, it was too late to be like, Dad, we're going to Chico. So instead I lied about it. And I was like, oh yeah, we're in Thermalito. And then he's like, okay, where are you? I'm driving around. And I'm like, not in Thermalito, in Chico.
That's right.
And then he drove over to Chico.
So I got on the phone with the guy, and I told him to pull over and park right where he was. I don't care where you are. You've got my minor daughter without my permission.
That's
You
right.
pull that thing over and stop. I will be there. And so after I busted you because I was out there driving around in Thermalito saying, I'm not seeing you. Yeah, I went over to Chico
What
and
kind of
she got in the
I
car.
was talking about like normal punishments. I'm trying to gauge how to like deal with like
I wasn't able to go. I think that was the punishment where I was grounded for 2 weeks, and it was like the first time I was grounded.
Nowhere. Nothing. Yeah.
And then my friends brought over a bunch of DVDs for me because I couldn't do anything. So it
Yeah.
literally was just like going to school and coming home, and I wasn't allowed to have people over or go anywhere.
You know, that was a period of time where things kept escalating with you. You know, it wasn't getting over. You were so unhappy, and there was just one thing after another where we were just having all these conflicts. And that's when I had that talk with you about, you know, because you were 16. You must have been 16. You do not have to live here. You have to live here by your own free will. This is voluntary. I can't put prison doors on this place. But in order to live here voluntarily, that means you cooperate. We work as hard as we can to be as reasonable as we possibly can be. We want you to have fun. We want you to be happy. So we stretch as far as we can go. I need you to believe that that's what's happening. And then from you, I need cooperate with that. You give, we give, and if it doesn't work like that, and that's a problem for you, you do not have to live here. Because it comes down to that. You can't have anarchy in your home. You can't bar your kids in. That not to any helpful thing. So I don't know. That talk seemed to settle things down. It started changing the relationship.
Those were hard years.
Those were hard years.
Those were hard years.
But you know, punishment through the years. Did not like spanking. I grew up with plenty of that. So SWATs, when they were little, they're, you know, SWATs work.
Oh my god, that was not a spank?
Well,
Spank was
Those were swats?
those were,
What's a
well,
spank?
They was
Spank-
I'm gonna tell you what
they
I
used to
think
get hit with
spankings are.
switches.
I-
Yeah.
I had welts all over my
Right, I
legs
need
from
bruise and
a
blood.
belt.
When did you get a spanking that you remember?
Oh, I got spanked all the time.
You did not.
Yeah, we do. No,
Bowen-
you got definitely worse.
Bowen,
But we would
yeah.
get in trouble together. Because we would do stuff, you would
Who
tell
was
us to
spanking you?
stop. Dad would spank us. And you spanked me like twice, and it was great because it was nothing. We would get in trouble together. Like, you would tell us to stop doing something because we were fighting, and then we'd both keep fighting with each other, and then you'd be like, great. When we get home, you both get spanks. And it's like this
It has to
long
be- had to
10
be a
minutes.
10 oh, to home.
No, to home.
I'm
Yeah.
like 10 minutes
And then-
spanking.
And
I
then
don't
you're
think so.
thinking, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna happen when we get home. And then you get home, like, I bet he forgot. He didn't.
I
Yeah,
forget.
but it was wait a little after you got home. Like, I forgot.
I do remember saying to Noelle,
Speak up.
sorry, were you still talking? Just saying to Noelle in that same vein of you can live somewhere else. It was so like clear that she was so unhappy here, and I'm like, you can go somewhere else. You really, if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. And she's like, where would I go? And I'm like, I don't know, but you can go anywhere. I don't care where you go. And then, you know, when it really got down to it, I mean, obviously we didn't want her to go anywhere. She didn't really want to go anywhere. So sometimes I think it's with teenagers, you also just have to get through those really hard times.
Right.
Like there was a time Bowen was little, but when he said he had his little fist like this and he said, oh, my fist just wanted to, touch her face or something, but he didn't. And it was
Oh.
like, I remember you saying, good, Bowen, you didn't do it. You didn't punch her in the face.
Well, so,
was
okay.
good.
So
That
the
was
story
great.
leading up to that was you were too little to follow any rules, and Bowen was enough older that he would be playing with something and you would just want to come, whatever. You would mess it up. He would get so frustrated and then he'd bonk you. So I picked him up one time after he was so frustrated with you, and I was talking about, you're right, she doesn't know how to play. She messes things up and you get really, really frustrated. That's what he did. And so I said, okay, you can be angry, but you can't let your anger come out of your fist and hit her. You can say, I want to hit you, but you've got to call for help. You call for help, and mom and dad will come take care of it. So at some point after that, there they are on the living room floor. They're sitting nicely together. Next thing you know, she's pulling Bowen's hair or something, and now he's freaking out, and he stands up and he starts jumping up and down. I just want to hit you. And so that's when I walked over there and I picked him up and said, hey, that's right, that's good. You didn't hit her. You said you wanted to hit her. It's okay to be mad, but you didn't hit her. Oh,
Remember Bowen? There was a long period whenever he got upset, and I remember it the most. Him jumping down from the counter, sprint into the living room, just jump at just an angle, like a 45-degree angle, land just right
We do that
on
all
his
the
face,
time.
yeah,
and then he would cry there. It
yeah.
was just straight up and just.
We got to where we would step over him saying, wow, that's got to hurt.
Well, and the bad thing though was that we would all, because we thought it was hilarious,
Yeah.
so we would all laugh, and that would just make him more upset.
Yeah, he was an angry little guy.
So we'd pick him up, take him back to the room for a timeout. Then he'd open and close his door. Bam, 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 bam. Or you'd hear him. He'd take something and be hitting on the dresser that you have now that you repainted. So it had all these little pokey holes in it. Did you sand it?
Yeah, those actually looked really cool when you
Yeah.
sanded it
Oh,
down.
nice.
It looked nice.
So, and I remember going back saying, you can't do that, stop doing that. And the thing with that kind of strong-willed child, and what Dad always said is if we had been doing violence with violence, it would have made him a horrible person right now. So we kept, setting those boundaries, carrying him back. You wanted to just shake him to have shaking baby syndrome, but you couldn't do that. When he was really little, he wasn't. It was really from 2 to 4, 3 to 5, something
Yeah.
like that.
2 to 10.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that bad, but staying calm and repeating over and over again. I really wish we had Honey Nut Cheerios, but all we have are Honey Bunches of Oats or whatever. And
I know you want those Honey Nut Cheerios. I
those-
wish we
those are
had
really
them.
Good.
Yeah.
How to stay out of the argument, how to stay out of the power struggle. Alex and Chelsea were a piece of cake. That we didn't have all of this trouble, and as parents, gosh, they were easy, and then came Bowen. And then in later years, Chelsea was able to maintain that I'm innocent and happy-go-lucky thing, and she used to try to give Noelle lessons on kissing ass. Even, you have got to learn how to kiss ass. Tell them what they want to hear, then do what you want. That was her style. But Noelle wasn't of that cloth.
I don't remember getting in trouble very much either. Though.
No,
We got away with stuff, but we never really did anything crazy.
you were just a nice guy.
Well, like me and Nathan, our biggest rebellion when we were 13 or 14 was when he was sleeping in the trailer in Palermo. We would sneak out even though we were outside. We were like 50 feet away from the house, so it wasn't really sneaking. We just walked out, and we would just go on a night walk. That was our rebellion.
Wow.
And I think one time when we were 15, he'd gotten cigars from somebody, so we went out and smoked cigars.
I mean, I think kids are going to and have to explore stuff. I mean,
Right,
they just
but
do. You
that's
just
what I
hope they don't do any permanent damage.
And that's what I mean. Like me
all
and
the way
Nathan, we weren't. That was
Right.
like. I think most kids drink at one point or another, and we did a couple times, but that was it. Like we didn't do drugs, we didn't steal anything, we didn't graffiti anything. Like one of our biggest rebellious things was we go on a night walk when you guys didn't know. That was it.
So then what's your thought? Some of my friends, like Alyssa, her mom always told her that that Susie rather know where she is than have Alyssa lie to her. So Alyssa was allowed to go to like parties and stuff as long as Susie knew exactly where she was.
Yeah, I know.
So what's your thought on that?
Don't like it. I could never. I couldn't go that route. Thought about it, but well, I don't think we ever encountered a great need to do that. It's not like you were sneaking out to parties that we knew of. I don't know, the biggest turmoil was that time we've already talked about that went on for, I guess that was most of that year. But I know parents resort to that. I don't like it because it's condoning something that you don't really condone. I can see. I don't think we ever said it, but I would have. Maybe I did. I don't know. If you are somewhere and you are drunk, please call. would rather have you call than be in trouble somewhere or get in trouble on the way home. But I don't think I would have said, go ahead, just tell me where you're going to be.
I think you said something like if you feel unsafe somewhere. I don't
Always.
think you ever. I don't remember you saying if you're drunk somewhere.
Yeah.
Drunk was never used.
I remember you telling me that, but that was just like for an FYI thing.
Yeah.
Because I never was, but I remember you telling us, like, if it happened, you wanted us to feel like we could call. Like, yeah, you're
Right.
in trouble, but it is far more important that you are safe. So, if you're drunk somewhere for whatever reason, we'll come and get you wherever you are, whatever time it is, because I want you safe instead of, so scared to call.
Yeah. So for me, that's different than condoning it, saying, go ahead, just tell me what you're going to do.
As a parent, though, it's really hard. Like if you were 15 to say, "Oh yeah, go to a party. That's okay. Go to Alyssa's. There's no adult is home, but that's okay." I mean, like when all those people drop their kids off here.
They didn't drop their kid. No, everybody dropped themselves. We were old enough.
I understood some people dropped them at the driveway because we called the parents later and said, "Don't ever bring your kid here if you don't see us." That's what I recall. At any rate, however that was. So as a parent, you're just trying to get your kid to be
Safe.
to 18 and live, and so
Yeah.
what would be? I mean, even now, even though we've changed I think we've certainly become more liberal, but what would be anything good about 15-year-olds all being together with no supervision of any kind of adult? So I don't
Yeah.
know. I wouldn't.
Nothing. That's the answer.
Well, I know, and that's
When I
the hard
remember,
thing.
I remember a lot growing up. Can I go over here? Nope, I haven't met the parents. Like if you hadn't, like if we had asked to go somewhere but you didn't know the parents, if you had never met them, nope, you don't know how it is. Or you would remember I went to somebody else, Gabe from, it was like 5th or 6th grade. I think 5th, or 4th or 5th. And he was having a birthday, and you took me out there. It was like way out in Thermalito or somewhere, and you got out and met the parents or the brother or whoever was heading it up.
I mean, you have to. You're 10 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. The parents, you as a parent are responsible for that child,
Oh, yeah.
and I think you have to know. You can't just dump your kid off and hope everything turns out okay. I mean, it's, oh my gosh, I do not envy you guys. I don't. It's rough.
And you're always walking that line. You want to be as obliging as possible in your kid's life. You want them to experience everything they can. So you're trying to find that line. And as a parent team, there's discussion after discussion, argument. I remember coming home from vacation one of those times. It had been a wonderful week. We hit that driveway. The moment we hit the driveway out there coming home, there was a discussion about the kids and what to do or something, and the whole week went away. And now we're back in this parent disagreement mode, because there has to be disagreement. You got two different people coming from two different places, which seems to be the design, but they have to be able to talk and go back and forth with each other on any given issue. And the kid issues, man, she was to this, I was to that. We'd go at it and trying to convince each other, trying to hear each other. And so what the kids get, ideally, is some kind of balance between those two people. But it's hard, my gosh. It's hard to keep it from deteriorating into just, yelling at each other and being angry with each other. So you have to do all that work of keeping it down here in a discussion so it can go back and forth and get to some kind of resolution. But boy, that's all the work of communicating. And if it's going to blow, if it's getting too big, then it has to stop, or then you have hurt feelings going on, and that just gets worse. It's a lot of work.
So I think what you said, what would help them moving forward is that, you know, all of you with your spouses you each will have a different idea of what should happen, and to listen to each other to then become the united front, because it is hard. I had very certain ideas, and Dad wouldn't maybe care about some, you know, he was maybe easier on some issues. He was harder on some issues, I was easier. So to really keep that communication between the two of you open as you know, are heading toward raising kids.
And it'll be hard. You will disagree.
Yeah, like, we already have so many different ideas. You know, like,
Read those books. Really
Like
read
what?
those books together. The two books Dad just talked about.
No, like,
Oh,
what do you
sorry.
guys?
well, like, obviously, you know, my childhood, and so, like, not necessarily disagreement, but then, like, obvious, okay, yeah, you can't beat your kids, you know, obviously I need to learn the proper way how to, like,
Yeah.
discipline my kid. And then there are some things where I'm like, no, it's really important that I forget the exact example where it came up, where I'm like, I have a really hard time with this, and Bowen was completely lax about it, like, we talked about it, or like I was totally okay with my parents doing that, and like I still feel really okay with them. I forget what it was, and Bowen was like, oh no, and I'm like, but it teaches them this and this and this, and
It was the escalation of punishment.
I don't remember if it was anything to do with
The hypothetical,
punishment.
I don't know, I gave you the hypothetical of, what do you do if a kid's throwing a fit in the store? You said, make them stop. And I
And you
said,
said take
what
them
if they
outside.
don't make, you said punish them, actually, that was your exact words.
Yeah.
So it's your punish them, like, what if they don't stop?
You just take them. You don't take them to you take them outside. You think, yeah, we already
That's a good example.
just
My
take them.
Because I know my kids will,
my favorite my favorite with that is when your kid
Louder.
drops on the floor, starts kicking and screaming. You walk up to him and you say, "Where are your parents?" You walk away.
And that is your child?
No, that was
You
Jeff
mean?
Fox.
Oh. No,
Yeah, but when your kid does that,
you could
kick and scream, you walk up. Where are your parents? And you just walk away.
So I was pregnant with Noelle at Albertsons, and I had probably Chelsea inside. Alex was on one side of the cart, and then Bowen jumped in, or however it was. I'm turned pregnant. The whole cart falls over on its side. And that might have been probably not the same time, but when Bowen dropped the whole thing of ragu on my brand new, you know, Reebok leather
That
80s tennis shoes. So it's just part of that too. I think back, I'm like, why was I shopping with 3 kids turned pregnant? I mean, some of those things are just kind of dumb. Like, I probably shouldn't have been shopping by myself with all of these kids. I mean,
But-
maybe I could have waited till later.
Yeah, but
That's what they make leashes for.
we that was our life, though. You know,
and you just do it. I remember
you do what you got to do.
we would just go, and I think I had friends who said, oh, I could never, you know, go whatever with 3 or 4 kids, and we just always incorporated our lives. We didn't stop our lives because we had children. We kept on just doing whatever, going to Oregon or camping or whatever.
That was a choice we made before we
Yeah.
had kids, that we weren't. We were going to keep living and just incorporate our kids into our life, and we did, but we also had opposite schedules for years,
Yeah.
and it was one parent home at a time, an awful lot of the time. And I liked taking everybody to the store. I liked practicing the things that I was learning, you know, stating the positive, that's for looking at instead of get your hands off that. But there were times where if a kid was throwing a fit in the store, I would ignore them. And there were times where, no, it's clear this is too much, and then I had to just leave the store. But if a kid was just mad and going to throw a fit, these two, more than one time, set them on the floor in the aisle, and I just stood there and let them wail because they were mad, not too tired. If a kid's too tired, and that's why they're just melting down, then that's asking too much. That ignoring thing will go as soon as you're through.
You did do, yeah, I remember.
I did
now
that a
you
lot.
say that,
And
let
they
me
would
know
stop.
When you're done, and then you just wait it out.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't like taking Bo into the store. I don't.
But when
she'll
you're
be able to
done,
use this.
You know what Amber used to do? Amber's actually really good with kids. We went to Taco Bell when Peyton was like 1, maybe 1.5 or something. And we were at Taco Bell and Peyton was in the, the high chair things, sitting in it. And she started screaming, like bloody murder, screaming. And Amber and I were talking. Amber just takes her and turns it around. So she's facing that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Amber's like, when you're done, I'll turn you back around.
Yeah.
It only took a few seconds before she quit.
Right.
yeah.
And she
Yeah.
turned her around again, and
That's
she did it
true.
one more time, and Amber just whoop, flipped her around.
Yeah.
And then after that, she did it again.
See, just those are examples of not taking a child head on, trying to overpower them. You cannot overpower a child when they're upset or real strong-willed unless you're willing to really hurt them. If you're willing to do what it takes to shut a strong-willed kid down,
But then you smash their spirit.
yeah, well, now
and
you're
that-
abusing them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the working with those ways that help a child come down by themselves. There was always the series of choices. You're throwing a fit out here in the living room because you're not getting your way. You can do that in your room, or you can stay out here and stop that. You're getting that across to the kid, but you're having to say it right in their ear because they're screaming. So there's that choice again. Well, they're going to choose to keep throwing the fit out here. Well, okay, you chose to go to your room. Now there's another choice. You can go by yourself, or I can take you, or I can help you. Well, of course, they're not going to go by themselves, but it's a choice. So you've decided I'm going to take you. So down the hall you go. Now you can come out when you're through. There's another choice. It's up to them. And I am doing everything in my power to stay out of it, except following through with whatever the choice is on the part of the kid. And that worked well. That worked, and that's just so different than now I'm going to start smacking this kid because he's throwing a fit, or I'm angry myself as I'm dragging them down the hall and throwing them in their room. The whole idea is, don't let your anger be the consequence. Let something else be the consequence. You are merely following through with what this child is choosing.
And let them decide.
It takes a childhood. But that's what it takes. As opposed to, okay, you can terrify a child into being snap to it obedient. But that's not respect, that's fear. So, I don't know, that's how it was for us.
And it works into adulthood too, and into jobs of letting people, when you're done, let me know when you're done, and then I'll respond to you. I use that. I forget about that, but I use that with doctors sometimes. OCS in particular. Hey, OC. Anyway, when you're done, let me know when you're done. Are you done yet? Are you done? Can I talk? Okay. So some of that, I think, having children have the power to choose really enables them to
The-
do so much more in their lives.
You learn you learn the power of that you have in your own life, and I believe that it tends to minimize the blaming that goes on. But in other words, if I've learned that my choices are what get me in trouble, when I'm in my adult life, it's easier to own my stuff and not blame people and things, but we all still do plenty of that.
I remember when I realized that in the Navy, like boot camp or just at my first station, like how do these people think that this kind of stuff is okay?
Your fellow Navy people?
Just, people, because you get 100 people from 100 different backgrounds. You don't always realize everything you've learned. I mean, I sent you guys an email.
Yeah.
You don't realize exactly what you've learned until you actually get thrown out in there in the middle, away from everything. So it's just like, this is not okay. And they're doing it like, oh, okay. That's what they meant. Got it.
I think that's also a good place to slow it down and
Yeah.
close out.
Okay.
Any final thoughts?
Till the next time.
Well, we are thoroughly enjoying our adult children and their chosen adults. It's been a thrill.
Hey,
Chosen
you
adult.
guys are some interesting kids.
I'm glad you didn't
Bad
choose a
childhood,
child.
bad child.
Yeah, well,
They're
Right.
either going to be
Chosen
super
spouses.
really
spoiled
good
or
too.
Yeah, chosen spouses.
Chosen spouses.
significant others.
Wives. Wives
Yeah.
to be.
Wives all around.
Wives all around.
Chelsea's not allowed to be in the wife club. She doesn't have one.
All
You
right.
never know.
And with that, we're done.
Didn't she try?
Doggone.
And she's just like, never mind, this sucks.
Yeah.
Wait for the camera, Dad.